Well, since many of you are going to celebrate Halloween, it's close to Halloween, I guess I could begin this video like this. Yeah, I'm going to start off like this. Come into my parlor, the spider said to the fly. Ooh, how corny, how silly. Come into my parlor, the spider says to the fly. And we see all the time when flies and other insects. Did I mention who I was? I am the mighty one, Angel Snubbed Up 7. This is the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. Now let us fly back to our commentary. Okay. So we have insects that fly into a spider's web. We observe this all the time. There's not too many of us that have never seen insects trapped in a spider's web. Come into my parlor, the spider says to the fly. Now, I've watched many nature programs, and it does not happen all the time. But usually what really gets the fly or the other insect into real trouble, you're going to be in trouble anyway, because you're walking into a trap, a sticky trap, and you're going to get caught up in this web. And the first mistake insects make when they hit the web is they begin to struggle against it. So the fly flies into the web and immediately starts thrashing around, and when the insect begins to thrash around, it alerts the spider, I got something in my trap. Now, the smart thing to do, it's not guaranteed, but the smart thing to do is when that fly or insect hit that web, is to just stop moving and become real calm and cool and collect. And just stop. Uh-oh, I'm in a web. Don't thrash around. Be calm. And what I have seen in some nature programs is the insect hit the web, don't struggle, but just sit there and just gain its energy and make one dash. And I've seen some insects actually break out of the web because they became cool, calm, and collect, and just gave all they got and just whoosh, and they broke the web and was able to escape the trap. There's a movie called Enter the Dragon. And there's a scene where Bruce Lee fought all these guys, but he ended up in this trap, and these doors came down and trapped him in some kind of pit. And he knew he couldn't quickly climb out of the pit. So Bruce just put his legs in Indian style. It's called Indian style. Crossed his legs, and he just became cool, calm, and collect. I mean, you can't get out of it. Save your strength. See, this is something that the descendants of slaves born in America, having dark skin, this is something that we have failed to do during our sojourn in the web of what y'all call white supremacy, pink supremacy, racism. We have hit the web of racism, but instead of being calm, cool, and collect, trying to understand that we are in a trap, you thrash around and you struggle, you protest, You holler and you scream and you kick. That's what you do. And you let the spider know that there's a meal available. Because all the things you do in your thrashing around, it has done nothing for you. We've only become a never-ending meal for a spider. Now, the insect, even though the insect was able to get out of the trap, the insect still has a problem. Some of the web, some of that glue is still on the body of the insect. You got to get that off. So it makes no difference if you are free. It makes no difference if the people on the African continent become liberated or free, if they still have traces of the web on their body. That is the number one problem on the continent of Africa, is that they carry the stench, they carry the webbing from being trapped in the web of racism. And you must get that off. Because if you don't get that off, it interferes with the insect's way to survive. You got to somehow rub it, get this stuff off of you. You can't fly properly. You can't move properly with this stuff on you. Even though many of these countries and nations on the African continent, they have been liberated from Europeans, they still are struggling, can't get themselves together because they carry the webbing and the stench of being among or caught in the trap, the web of an oppressor, of a spider. If you call yourself, matter of fact, if you call yourself African, if you call yourself black or Negro or colored, and you think that you are free, you are far from being free. These are labels. These are parts of the webbing, the trap. You're still carrying the webbing on you. And I say this over and over again, and I have yet to see somebody to show evidence that I am in error. There are no dark-skinned people on this planet prior to Europeans that made reference to themselves as black or African or colored or Negro. None of that stuff. All that it comes from a racist construct. You are caught in the trap. Come into my parlor, the spider says to the fly. The enemy, your enemy, my enemy, created this game of race. They are the ones who play the race card. They created this game. You had nothing to do with the creation of race. There is nobody on this planet that talk about race except the Europeans. They created the race game. And you think that for some reason you can beat them at their game. You did not create it. You don't even know how to play the game. But you think that you can holler black power, African spirituality power, which is nothing but a response from Caucasian racism. That's all that it is. It's racism colored black. And you fall for the old okie doke. You think you can beat them at their own game. Well, they talk about white power. I'm going to holler black power. The webbing is all over you. You are no longer a slave or chained. You are physically free, but you are far from being mentally free. You believe that because you talk about black supremacy, black power, black conscience, only thing you are telling me is that you are still a slave. You're carrying the residue of a webbing that you was trapped in. You got out a little bit, but you're still trapped. You have to get this stuff off of you. Otherwise, you cannot operate properly. And clearly, at least 100 years with this mentality, how far have you gone? No. Matter of fact, you're going right back into the actual original trap. You're not doing very good. You think that you can fight fire with fire. Well, they call us niggas, or I call them devils and honkies and whatever else. You think that's going to change your condition. Has not changed your condition at all. It made you believe and become more comfortable in the web, in the trap. You must come up out of her all the way. You must rid yourself of all traces of the trap. In the scriptures, it talks about Moses was given the order that his people must come up out of Egypt. Not only physically, you must get rid of all those idols, all the ways that whatever you learned in Egypt, you have to get rid of it. But y'all hold on to black. That's not yours. You hold on to African. All these labels, all these references, all these different things. Y'all, I'm proud to be black. In other words, you are proud to be a slave. You are proud to be a trapped animal because you are in a web and you can't get out. If you do get out, you have the residue, the stench of being in the toilet, and you don't know how to get it off. And this devil, this wicked people have turned you into thousands of racist wannabes. And if you listen to the rhetoric coming from much of the black scholarship community, black conscious, African this, whatever community, if you take the black out of it, if you take the African off of it and put white, there is no difference. Because basically you're saying the same thing. You are better. You are greater because you have melanated skin. I had a conversation with a brother about Bruce Lee. And he's so black. Well, black people, Africans, they developed martial arts first. Who cares who developed it first? We know that Bruce Lee brought martial arts to the movies. And when you think about martial arts, you think about Bruce Lee and the Chinese. They do that very well. I have yet to see any Africans make a movie, martial arts movie, and you don't want to give people their props. You don't want to give people their props because we've been living in this web of racism. And we have been taught by your massa, you have to be better and greater because of something. Big nose people are smarter than people with little nose. Big lip people can run faster. You have to be better. You've fallen and you are entrapped into this web of racism. Now, when Bruce Lee was alive, where was all these people talking about Bruce Lee is fake and all that? In fact, during the time when Bruce Lee was alive, there were stories where Bruce Lee had to actually physically fight some of these people and they shut up and found out he was more real than what they thought. But see, it's easy to talk about somebody when they're dead. They cannot defend themselves or show you other. Just like our brother, soul brother, AdMinister Malcolm X. Somebody is always trying to bring Malcolm down, trying to show how they are smarter than Malcolm or whatever. But Malcolm is not here. But anyway, what we see here is you have developed the same behavior, the same mentality as your slave master. You hate folks just because they are white. I truly understand that Caucasian people have done serious wrong. However, this does not mean that we should deny people justice. But you do because they are white. So if I'm a gentleman and I open doors for the sisters, I'm still a gentleman. Here comes some Caucasian ladies going through the same door. I'm supposed to just shut the door on them because they white. The same mentality as the slave master. You hate folks for no reason. I don't know these people. We might go down the road. I'm in a car crash, and the Caucasian ladies that I open the door for, they might be the first ones to help me in this car crash. And the black folks will pass you by. It's something called justice. But because we think like our massa, like the racists, then this is our attitude. We deny justice. So you have all these black supremacy, Kemetic teachings. All this is nothing but a response to racism. These are not real and true disciplines or real scholarship. It's nothing but a response to racism. This is why I ask us, I don't teach you nothing. I offer us the advice, and I suggest to us that we return back to something our ancestors gave us, which is soul. Soul takes us up out of race. It begins to wipe all that stuff off of you. And you learn how to be a human being. You begin to learn how to love life instead of copying those who are destroyers and those who hate life, which is your slave master. These people that put us in this condition or position to begin with. Why you want to be like them? But you do. Vulgar, profane, hate-filled, nasty mouth, greedy, selfish, materialistic. Why you want to go to Africa? Africa got diamonds. Africa got gold. Never talk about how much you love the people. It's always Africa. It's our resources. Don't steal our resources. That's all these people talk about. I'm not going to get caught up in the trap of racism. So when the spider says, "Welcome to my parlor," this fly ain't flying in that direction. I just recently filed an application for some insurance. And on the insurance, they want to know what your race is. And I put soul. They asked me, what is this? I said, I am a member of the nation of soul. The tribe of soul. I have soul. Yeah, but that's not, I said, that's what I am. Aren't you African? No, I am of soul. I am of life. I am a human being, period. So I filled out the application, and when I got it back to see the copy, they wrote in that I was white, that I was a Caucasian pink person. I had to go to these people, these idiots. I am not going to play your race game. I am out of your game. Either you're going to respect me, or I don't need your insurance. I am a person of soul, or you can put other. I'm not playing your race garbage. That's the way you have to do. This is the mentality and the mindset that we must have in order to escape this trap. Don't continue to walk into the parlor because this spider invites you